$100 quietly disappears from most checking accounts every single week. It vanishes on a barbecue dinner, a bottle of wine, or a few small purchases that seem insignificant until they're totaled at the end of the month. Compare how easily we spend that money with the friction we create when it comes to investing it. We wait to be debt-free, we wait for a better market, or we wait for a raise that always seems to be one more year away. The space between intending to invest and actually executing the transfer is where most wealth building dies. It is a holding pattern that feels like responsible planning, but functions as a permanent delay. Nolan is 32 years old, sitting on his couch, staring at his brokerage app. He selects a low-cost index fund, enters $100, and confirms an automatic monthly transfer. Pressing that button once breaks the cycle of procrastination. You stop being someone who intends to build wealth and become someone who does. The 40-year clock officially starts. The first 6 months of this timeline are mathematically designed to be underwhelming. The interest generated early on is so small that it tests your willingness to continue. This graph plots the first half year. By month 6, you've deposited $600, but the investment gain is only $12. Your brain calculates the effort isn't worth the sacrifice. This is where 90% of investors quit. For those who stay, the market will eventually drop. Sometime around month 4 or 5, your account value will fall below the total amount of cash you actually put in. The screen turns red. By keeping the automatic $100 transfer running, you use dollar cost averaging to your advantage. As the price per share drops on the left, your fixed $100 automatically buys more shares on the right. Watching the balance drop while refusing to sell builds the psychological endurance to handle serious wealth. This phase is about surviving the boredom and the panic until the math can take over. By year 5, the account balance reaches $7,350. The growth is real, but it remains invisible to everyone around you. At this stage, social pressure becomes the primary enemy. You will see peers driving new $52,000 trucks while you are still driving the same car from year 1. Their progress is visible and loud. This is the lifestyle inflation trap. When most people get a raise, the extra money is immediately absorbed by a more expensive version of their existing life. The savings rate stays flat even as the income rises. When Nolan gets a $650 raise, he changes his automatic investment from $100 to $750. He keeps his apartment and his grocery list exactly as they were. Because Nolan anchored his lifestyle at a lower cost early on, the raise didn't need to fund his present. He simply moved the new fuel into the machine he had already built. Around year 9, the portfolio hits the crossover point. This is the specific moment where the internal growth of the account begins to rival the external human effort. At an 8% return, a $15,000 portfolio generates $1,200 in interest per year. That meets your own $1,200 contribution. By year 15, the interest bar hits $3,000, doing more than double the work without additional hours from you. From this point forward, the machine is self-sustaining. It has reached a scale where it can feed itself, out-earning the person who started it. Zooming out to the full 40-year view shows that the single variable of time dictates the final outcome. It is the only lever that can create exponential results from a small starting point. A 20-year timeline at $100 a month results in $59,000. Extending to 30 years pushes the balance to $149,000. Running for 40 years, the balance reaches $349,000. Over that 4-decade span, your actual out-of-pocket cash accounts for only 14% of the total. The other 86% was created by the simple passage of time. Starting at age 20 results in 6 times as much money as starting at age 40, even though you only contributed twice as much cash. Every year of delay is an expensive trade. There is one final threat hidden in the fine print. The expense ratio is an annual management fee that is deducted automatically from your balance. Because you never sign a check for it, most investors ignore it. Compare a low-cost index fund charging 0.03% against an actively managed fund charging 1%. Over 40 years, that tiny difference in fees extracts $89,000 from your final balance. The $89,000 difference isn't a result of market volatility or bad luck. It's a voluntary tax paid by those who don't check the fee before pressing the button. Building this timeline doesn't require a large income or a deep understanding of the market. It requires closing the gap between the intention to start and the action of starting. That first $100 serves as the anchor for the entire system. It builds the reflexes and the infrastructure required to let a machine run in the background of your life until it eventually outworks you.